I can't lie to you. What is weird about making this video is Coach Tomlin is not the coach. There were so many things that I understood to be true because Coach Tomlin was the coach of my Pittsburgh Steelers. And now when I'm looking at the schedule, I don't really know what to think and feel. There were so many things that were true because it was Coach Tomlin. What was true about Coach Tomlin is how we came out of a bye week. What was true about Coach Tomlin is how we played on Thursday nights, unfortunately. What was true about Coach Tomlin is what we looked like on Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. There were so many things about Coach Tomlin that I just knew as a fact because I had so much experience with him. Now, when I look at the Steelers' schedule, there's certain things that I don't know what is true and what is not true, because we have a new coach. And as exciting as that is, and as cool as it kind of is to almost be able to reset as a fan, it makes me a little bit confused because I'm not sure what to expect. I mean, I expect wins. The Rooneys told me I should expect wins. The Rooneys told me there's not going to be a step back. The Rooneys told me the goal is to win. And if the goal is to win, the goal is to win. I like McCarthy stepping in, bringing in an offense. I like Aaron Rodgers. I like every single thing this team is doing. I'm concerned about the offensive line, mainly because I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we're going to be able to run the football. But if you're telling me we're going to have an offensive coach, and because we're going to have an offensive coach, we have all the patterns and all the things that we need, okay. And then when I look at how the Steelers drafted, I feel like the Steelers think they have everything they need as well, because of based on how some of the draft picks that they did. So I don't really know how I'm feeling right now. But this is a season prediction video for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And while I want to sit up here and say, okay, this game I don't feel comfortable, this game I don't feel comfortable, and give my reasons, I honestly can't do that because right now, I don't know if I feel comfortable, uncomfortable. I don't know if I'm being ignorant. I don't really know how I feel because it's new. And when something is new, you just don't know how you feel. And I want to be honest here. I don't want to just make up a video and say, we're going to lose because of this. We're going to win because of this. We're going to do this because of this. When I don't really know. The one thing I will say about this schedule is I don't hate the schedule as of the teams that we play. I actually hate where the certain teams are. For example, at the beginning of the season, before our bye week, I feel like the schedule makes sense. It flows. It's great. Okay, cool. And then the second half of the season, it gets a little weird. It gets a little like, uh-oh, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have the Denver Broncos. We have the Ravens twice. We're going to have the Bengals then. We have the Eagles. We have, those are playoff teams. We have the Panthers. We have the Texans. All of those teams are playoff teams, but we're playing them in the back half of the year. I don't know why some of those games are not in the front half of the year, but honestly, it is what it is at this point. There's really nothing I can do. That's just how the NFL did the schedule. And it also makes it really confusing because the Steelers could start off really hot, really good. And then as the competition gets better, I don't really know. And again, I just don't really know what to expect from this schedule. But there are 4 things that I actually really like about this schedule that I want to talk about here. Hi, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment in the comment section below and I'll let you get back to your video. The first thing I like about the schedule is we're not traveling too far. Yes, we're going to France. That's the furthest we're going to go for obvious reasons. But then other than that, we're staying pretty close. We only have 2 other games that are not in the same time zone, and I love that. Which brings me to my second point. And my second point is we don't have to go to coast. We don't have to go to the West Coast at all. I love that for us. We get to stay on the East Coast where we understand what's going on, where we understand our schedule, where we understand our environment. I also love that the first beginning of the schedule before the bye week, it allows us to get into a little bit of a groove. It allows us to see teams that they're still in the NFL. So I'm not going to say they suck, but it allows us to get in a better groove and just to see different things before we really get to the tough part of our schedule. And then I ironically, like that the last 10 games, 8 of those last 10 games are against AFC competition. When you're playing against other AFC competition, it allows you to really make your move in the playoffs, and those games matter. So if you win those games, they matter a lot. Obviously, if you lose those games, then the opposite is true. But then the other thing I secretly like in a really weird way is out of those last 10 games, 4 of them are against AFC North competition. That tells me that all season, the Steelers are going to have opportunities to really clinch the division, win the division, to get good seeding in the playoffs. And I love that. I love how that feels. I love how that shakes up. And the only NFC teams we play late are going to be the Eagles and the Panthers. And I love that. 8 of the last 10 games we play are against AFC teams. I kind of like that, actually. The more I say it, the more I kind of like it. Instead of doing what I usually do and putting up schedules and saying win, loss, I'm actually just going to talk a little bit about these games and tell you a little about what I'm thinking and feeling, because I have these marked as games that we should win, games that we might lose, and then games that are considered toss-ups. So let me give you a little bit of thoughts of what I'm thinking about some of these games, because some of them I'm not really sure. And some of them I don't want to say we better win, but some of them we better win. All right, so having said that, I have my trusty sidekick here. So I'm going to go to the games that I think should be wins for the Steelers. I have the Falcons, the Bengals the first time, the Browns on Thursday night. If the Steelers are able to beat the Browns on Thursday night, that's going to be a small miracle at the very beginning of the season. And then we have the Colts, the Bucks, the Saints, the Browns again, and then the Bengals because they're going to be traveling to Pittsburgh, which I love. And then I have the Panthers and the Titans. Those are the teams that I think the Steelers should win. That gives us 10 wins. If those games we're able to win, that gives us 10 off top. However, let's be honest here, okay? If we're able to do that, that is going to mean that we're going to be 7-1 heading into the bye week. I don't really know if I see that. I don't really know if I feel that. But when I look at these games, when I look at these teams, I like what we have more than those teams. Beating the Browns on Thursday night is going to be a small miracle, not because it is the Browns, but because the Steelers haven't beat the Browns on Thursday night. Really, I don't even know the last time the Steelers beat the Browns in Cleveland. So the Cleveland-Brown game, I just want the Steelers to win. Every year I say this, I just want us to win, and we haven't won yet. However, this year is the year. We're going to win, we're going to have an offense, it's going to work, and we're going to beat the Browns in Cleveland on Thursday night. So those are the 10 wins that I have heading into the season that I feel pretty confident about. I don't want to say 100%, but I feel pretty confident. For the losses, I have the Patriots, I have the Eagles, and I have Jacksonville. The reason why I have the Patriots is because I just don't like week 2 going into Foxborough playing the Patriots. It just doesn't feel right. I feel like Mike Vrabel is going to have something to prove. I just don't like it. Historically, we've struggled playing in New England. We've just struggled playing there. Yes, that was with Coach Tomlin, though. So who knows? Is this year different? Is this year the year we're going to have a lot of offense and we're going to change as a team? I don't really know. But because I don't really know, all I can really do is go off history. So for me, I'm going to give the Patriots a loss. The other loss I'm going to give is the Eagles because, again, we cannot beat the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. It just can't happen. It just hasn't happened. It hasn't happened in I don't even know how long. I don't even know if we've ever beaten them in Philly at this point. So for me, I'm going to count it as a loss until the Steelers show me that they can beat the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. It is going to be a loss for me. Okay, so those are going to be the 2 losses. The reason why I have the Jacksonville Jaguars here, we're going to need to be healthy. And something about playing the Jaguars and the Steelers is just weird for the Steelers. I don't know what happens when we play Jacksonville. It's like something that they do just makes it hard for us to beat them. Now, this Jacksonville Jaguars team is obviously a different Jacksonville Jaguars team than the Steelers have ever experienced. But I just don't like it. This game to me is going to come down to injuries, and I don't like where it's at on the schedule. That is something that is really driving me to feel like the Steelers might lose the game, is where it's at on the schedule. I just don't love it. And if there's a trap game or a game where I feel like the Steelers might struggle or might have a weird thing happen, for some reason, I just feel like it's going to be in the Jacksonville game, and I hope that that is wrong. My toss-up games is going to be the Bengals the second time, because the second time we play them in Cincinnati, we cannot beat the Bengals in Cincinnati, so that's going to be a thing. And then the other game is going to be the Texans. The reason why I have the Texans as a toss-up is because the Texans play us after they played the Baltimore Ravens. Historically, anytime teams play Baltimore and then play the Steelers, it's usually a harder game for them just because the Baltimore Ravens bring that defense and they bring a lot of different things. And tackling Derrick Henry is never fun. I don't care how good your defense is. And so for me, that is going to be a toss-up game. So the Texans will have to have tackled Derrick Henry, deal with Lamar Jackson, deal with the Ravens, and then they have to get on a plane, head to Pittsburgh, and play us. I feel like it's a toss-up game. I'm not going to give the Steelers a win. I'm not going to give us a loss. I just think it's a toss-up game because of where it falls on the schedule. And then the other 2 games that I have here are both of the Baltimore Ravens games because nobody ever knows what you're going to get. You just don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I just don't know. I could sit here and be like, oh yeah, we're going to beat the Ravens. And then I could also sit here and be like, no, we're never going to beat the Ravens. I don't really know what we're going to do with the Ravens. I don't know how this McCarthy team is going to look against the Ravens. I don't know how they're going to look against us. I don't really know what is going to happen with the Ravens as a team. This one is really hard for me. Out of all the games on the schedule, the Ravens matchups are weird for me, especially because they're at the end of the year. So I don't even know where to place these. I don't know what to do with the Ravens games. So those are going to be toss-ups. So my toss-up games are going to be the 2 Ravens games, the Bengals game, and the Texans game. That's just how I feel. And then the losses from where I'm standing right now is going to be the Patriots, the Eagles, and the Jaguars, because I just don't like how that feels. And then obviously all the games basically at the beginning of the year are going to be wins minus the Patriots. And that's honestly how it shapes out, because we have an air quotes easier schedule at the beginning of the year. The truth of the matter is I don't trust the Saints. I don't trust the Bucks. I don't trust the Falcons. Like, there's a lot of teams in the NFC South that I don't trust. And watch what's going to happen this year. The NFC South all of a sudden is going to make a resurgence. I don't really know, but this is how I am looking at this schedule as I see the schedule without Coach Tomlin. And it's still weird saying that, but I needed to be on record as saying something about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't really know what I expect from them, but something is telling me they're going to be a good football team. I hope that I'm not jinxing them by being like, they're going to be a good football team, and then they show up and they're awful. But I really like the Steelers team. I like how we look. I like our offense. I like our defense. It's going to depend on this offensive line. If this offensive line can figure themselves out, we're going to have a good season. So that's just kind of where I'm at. I don't really know, but then I kind of know. But I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about the Steelers team? What do you think our record is going to be? Let me know if there's anything that you think that I have missed in making this video. And as always, I'll see you in my next video.